A special planet parade is expected in the night sky on Friday night across North Georgia, but is it really going to be all that it's hyped up to be? We want to get down to the source. Joining me now, AJ Chadha from the Georgia Tech Astronomy Club. Let's dive into this planet parade on Friday.
Right.
Some articles claim that you're going to be able to see, what is it, 6 or 7 planets in the night sky? 7.
Yeah.
But will people really be able to see all 7 of these planets?
So it's really interesting because Neptune and Uranus are 2 of the farthest planets from our Earth. And because of that, they are really, really dim, especially when you're living in like a city with light pollution. Even using binoculars or like a telescope, it can still be hard if the atmosphere is not completely clear and there are clouds and stuff. So usually with that, you'll need special equipment. For the other 5 planets though, that's Saturn, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus. Those planets are actually really bright in the sky and you should be able to see them. Saturn and Mercury, you're gonna have to catch really quickly because they're gonna be like on the horizon and slowly dipping down. And they're only gonna be illuminated by the sun as it's slowly ebbing away. So it'll be great if you can have an unobstructed view of the horizon, maybe by being like on a rooftop or something or in a higher area. But even then, it still will be really cool. The way it'll work is in the southeast, if you look, or sorry, the southwest, you'll be able to see Saturn and Mercury for a bit, I think for around 30, 40, maybe an hour or so, until they start to dip down below the horizon. And then afterwards, you'll see Neptune, if you have like a telescope or binoculars. And then afterwards, it'll be Venus, which will be super bright since Venus and Mercury are very close to the sun. And then afterwards, Uranus, which is a lot brighter than Neptune, and you can see them. I saw it last night, actually, with the telescope that we have at Georgia Tech. And then Jupiter, and then Mars.
So I guess that's why they call it a parade, because it's not all at once.
Yeah.
You get, an appetizer and then the main course, but as you were mentioning, there's a few facets we're playing with that make it difficult.
Right.
You were saying that Neptune and Uranus, they're harder to see. You got to see them with binoculars or a telescope.
Right.
And then you mentioned 2 of them are right at the bottom of the horizon.
Right.
The sun's involved in everything, so not as easy to see otherwise. But still, so which planets are it that people will be able to see more easily with the naked eye?
So for sure, you'll definitely be able to see Mars, Jupiter, and Venus. Those will definitely be visible because they'll still be high up in the sky until maybe around, like, I want to say 8, 9, even 10 p.m. As they continue to just ebb away into the west. But Mercury and Saturn, you're going to actually want to try and get to see those right at sunset in that area where the sun is still kind of fading away, and then they'll still be visible at the horizon, but they won't be there for that much longer because as we move into our spring seasons and our summer seasons, the rotation, I guess our position in the solar system is changing, so where they will start to set a lot quicker and won't be as up in the sky for as long as we want them to be.
So we'll still get to see some planets, but all the hype online is that this is a very rare thing. How often does this alignment of having 7 planets visible in the evening sky happen at once? Like how frequent does that happen? It's
actually pretty rare. Honestly speaking, normal planetary parades where you see like 3, 4, or 5 planets in the sky are pretty uncommon. You can see them maybe once or twice a year, once every couple of years, depending on how many planets there are in the sky and which planets those are. But for all 7 planets to be in the sky at one time, it's a super rare event that only happens once every decade or so because of how rare it takes for all the planets to be in the same position for our perspective of the Earth. Imagine like a bunch of birds flying around you at different speeds, and you can only see the birds that are like in front of you at one time when it's light, I guess. In this case, when the sun is gone. Kind of timing it to where all of them are in the same, I guess, plane in front of us in the same perspective, it's pretty rare. Given that as well though, with Uranus and Neptune being kind of dim and visible, no one's really seeing those planets anyways unless they have those telescopes. So it's still pretty rare, but you won't be missing out super much unless you're like really into astronomy and using a telescope and stuff.
Will people be more in awe about this or seeing a total lunar eclipse? Or total solar eclipse, either of them?
Both, actually. I think the total lunar eclipse that's happening in March and the total solar eclipse that happened, I think, last year.
Last year, yeah.
Right. I actually have some pictures of that, but those are definitely more spectacular, I guess, more interesting events because they're so easy to see. You just look up in the sky and you're like, what's going on? Compared to like this type of event where you have to like look for stars, and especially considering that there's so many objects and celestial things in our sky, it's really hard to keep track of where everything is if you're not really like in the know about it. And especially too, since they're so far away, they look like a star anyways. So
you said the 3 that we will be able to see, it's after sunset and right around sunset. And what part of the sky do we look in?
So you're gonna start looking in the southwestern direction, and then slowly move your gaze, I guess, eastward. And as you go higher up, it'll start to arc. And that arc is actually called the elliptic, which is basically the plane on where all the planets are rotating around the sun. It'll look curved because the Earth is round and spherical.
Not flat.
No. But it creates that curve because of the way that we view things in our atmosphere and just outside the Earth.
Very cool.
It'll be really sick.
So in the city, though, we'll be able to see some, but there is a lot of light pollution.
Right.
How do you recommend if somebody wants to maybe try to see this and set up a family night or a date night on Friday evening to see it? What are some good tips for people to know?
Well, actually, the light pollution might make things a bit easier because it will probably block out a lot of the stars, but since the planets are so close to us, they will appear so much brighter, which means they'll be easier to spot and identify. A good way to, I guess, identify which planets are which, especially if you don't have like a telescope or anything, a lot of phones have like the sky scanner apps or like the star tracker apps where you basically download the app and you point it at the sky and it tells you where you can find different planets or different celestial objects. So that definitely is useful. I even use it sometimes when I get confused. And it's really useful when you want to try to identify like where different constellations are or where different planets are and everything too.
That's great. So in between us, though, this is the telescope.
Yes.
And part of the fun part about the Astronomy Club is that you guys hold public viewing nights, right?
Right,
Where
right,
people
right.
can come in and look at the stars and everything. Do you have one of those happening on Friday?
So actually, it's not an official public night, but because of the interest of everyone wanting to see it, we're opening the observatory at Georgia Tech Friday night around 6 p.m., 6:30 for people that just want to come see whatever they can in the sky. And we'll also have our big 20-inch telescope up as well, so it'll be super cool to get like a big view of the planets. It's always so much fun when people are looking through the telescope, even if they've looked through it a million times. Every single time is like new, because it's just kind of insane to think that that's out there, you know?
Very cool. And if people maybe have an interest in star watching and they want to develop their hobby, this is a telescope that's not like a $5,000, $10,000 thing. What are we looking at right here? And is that the best way for somebody to start if they have a passion for stargazing?
Right, so actually this is a really inexpensive telescope for beginners. It's around $200, $250 on Amazon, and it was actually donated to us, and it is a refractor telescope. The difference between refractors and reflectors is that reflectors are generally cheaper because they use mirrors, but refractors have lenses in them, which allow you to get more details and a closer look at like planets and stuff, while reflectors with mirrors that are a lot bigger and wider are generally used for like deep sky objects. But this is like a $200 telescope, $250. It's really, really cool. You get great quality. I used it the other night to check out Venus and Jupiter, and it was really cool. And I saw Mars as well, and it was beautiful and red. So.
And when we do have things like meteor showers, those are kind of harder, more difficult to see in the city.
Especially.
Is there anywhere close to Atlanta that people can drive to get darker skies?
Right. There are a few different areas that you can definitely try. The place that I like to go, it's not the closest, but it's Deer Lake Astronomy Village, which is in Crawfordville, Georgia, around 2.5 hours east of Atlanta. And I know that sounds like a long drive, but when I tell you, it's so worth it because the light pollution, the Bortle level, which is like the light pollution level, is around a 2 and a 3, which means it's so dark that you can see shooting stars every couple seconds. You can see the Milky Way with your own bright eyes. And when meteor showers do happen, when you're in a place like that, you're just seeing stars falling from the sky every couple seconds. And not actually stars, but it's still a really cool sight to see. It's unreal almost.
If you've never experienced the Milky Way with your own naked eyes, do it. It's definitely worth it.
Crazy. It's a crazy experience.
So, planetary parade coming this Friday night. Not so special, but special at the same time. You'll be able to see 3 of those planets easily, 2 more on the bottom of the horizon. AJ Chadha, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.